Okay, so welcome to Happy Hour with Ruth and Roxy. We're just gonna go ahead and, if we're by ourselves, we're by ourselves, because that's kind of how it goes anyway.
And we're hoping you can hear us, but we have had technical difficulties pretty much
It-
up, down, sideways, and then diagonally. So,
I'm actually having a hot flash because of technical
no.
difficulties.
Yeah.
Okay,
bad
but
that way.
also, I think we jinxed it because you didn't open your wine yet. Anyway, I want
Oh,
people to see my
yeah.
t-shirt, but I can't really tell if, let me see if I can make this bigger. Oh, no, that
No,
makes
that
it
goes-
smaller. Mine says it's about, hang on, I don't want to
just
fall
gotta
into the
stand
chair.
back.
Madam, it says it's about madam time. And
It's
I have
about
my,
Madam time.
oh, Beverly's there.
Oh, good. Hi, Beverly.
Okay.
We love that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
And I am wearing my, what does it say? A joyful warrior.
Waltz and Harris.
There we
Harris
go.
Waltz.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're wearing this, and I've got t-shirts, and I'm wearing them until election night, I gotta say. Not the same
Yep.
t-shirt. And I will shower, just saying.
Sure
Just
you will.
saying, sure I
She
will.
says that. Okay,
Yeah.
so because of our technical difficulties, Ruthie opened her wine first, and it's very pretty. I'm
it
going
is
to
pretty.
open
It's
mine
very
now,
bubbly.
and I'm going to show you what it is. See this cute little bottle? See how cute it is? Is it good? Did you taste it?
It's good. It's a little sweet.
A little
but it's
sweet.
good.
Okay. All right. Well, this is an Italian style sparkling red by an Okanagan winery called Priest Creek, and that was an offering from the Okanagan
Okay,
Wine Club
that
I
like
tried.
it how it looks on our picture, like that.
Oh.
We're heavenly.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Anyway,
We weren't heavenly the way we were
No.
talking about our
perhaps
technology.
cussing. I also have my red Converse sneakers on that Roxanne gave me, but I'm not flexible enough to put my feet in the air in this purse. So just gotta
Yes,
say.
let's just not hurt ourselves.
Just gotta say. Okay, what we're drinking, Beverly, do you have a beer out there? Are you having a Heineken?
Whoa, that is sweet.
It's a little sweet. I think it would be good in summer if you put lots of soda
Yeah,
water and
yeah,
made it into
yeah.
like,
It's
but it has bubbles. We like bubbles.
yeah, bubbles are good. It's more like a rosé, a more robust rosé.
Yeah, it tastes like more like a cooler to me.
Oh,
like, you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like
that's
that.
actually.
I was
yeah.
trying to think, it's not cider, because cider has some,
Yeah.
this is
yeah.
quite sweet. We
Yeah.
might have to shift out halfway through.
We
'cause-
might, yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
We like to try new
It's
things.
good to try new things, and we
Yep.
always do that.
Yeah.
So the reason we're going live today is because normally we record on the alternate
Yes.
Fridays when we're gone. And last Friday, Ruth and her husband were in Maui.
Yes. For work.
Yeah,
That's why I
she
don't
says
have a
Maui.
tan.
So we couldn't record, and we talked about doing various things. Maybe we'll do a Zoom recording while we're there, and you know what? Just no. So and then of course they come home and they have to make up for other work time.
Yeah.
So this is really the first. Really, we haven't seen each other for 2 whole
Except
weeks.
walking the dogs.
Except walking the dog. So we're catching up now, and we're catching
are.
up in front of you. So
Yes.
yay,
So
yay,
yay.
you.
So this will be fun. So we have notes.
We do have notes.
And so one of the things we of course are going to talk
where'd
about
my
because,
dog
the puppy's
Oh,
missing.
No, he's
Oh,
not missing.
Okay,
You can see behind us there. There's the crate. We've just got it out there so he can get used to having it. But if I move, you can see him. Oh, there he is. He's on the couch
Yeah.
behind me. So anyway,
but anyway, that's why our dogs aren't here yet, because it would have been a little chaos live, and it was chaotic enough with poor technology.
Yeah, no kidding.
But given that, next Tuesday is who's talking to us? Anybody good?
No, well, yes, it's my daughter.
Oh,
So
of
she's
course,
talking
but
to
she's
us,
not
but not
watching.
about this.
Okay. But so the US election is Tuesday. And first of all, we're not going back. We are not going back. My pearls, our t-shirts, all of it, they tell us we're not going back. But I have to say, and it's a tight race, but there's starting to be signs of hope. There are more, about 15%, I think it is, more women than men have voted in most of the, especially the swing state polls. That's a very good thing. Certainly, they're seeing younger voters who maybe weren't old enough to vote last time, and they've been replaying some stuff, including that that video with Trump about I can grab him by the P
good.
word. They're
Yeah.
replaying that because some of those people were too young to understand what that is, right?
Yeah.
And so there's also more young people, some the first election, and they're coming out, and they're for sure coming out because they want healthcare access, but also for guns, right? Because the MAGAts are owned by the Rifle Association, whatever they're called,
Yeah.
the Gun Association.
Gun
I mean, yeah.
Not gun control, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but that association. And there's also this little campaign happening, and the Harris Waltz campaign have put out things, and so have other people, where a lot of women have been they're saying, look, you're in the voting booth by yourself. You can vote for whoever you want, because a lot of really, really far right women are controlled by their men, right?
Right,
And what they're
yeah.
saying is you're in the voting booth by yourself. I'm not quite sure why it says podcast launch music, but maybe it's playing somewhere. But anyway, so what they're saying is he doesn't need to know the voting booth. You one person goes in it.
That's brilliant. So
So
even if you're in a relationship where you don't have a voice exactly in the voting booth, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So all these guys out there, these really controlling, maggots, have been saying, yeah, that's why I got mail-in ballots ahead of time, so I can make her vote for Trump.
No.
So and they're actually sharing them on social media, and of course some of the more democratic places that I follow, they're sharing them from seeing them on like True Social and stuff like that, and they all have their names on them, and you can see their IP address. So I just send them over to the FBI tip line, because that's election interference.
Absolutely.
So I just keep sending it over, and it's like, I don't know if this meets your criteria, but you need to know what's going on.
Wow.
So I'm sure now I'm going to be on an FBI watch list or something.
Great.
But I really like the shh campaign, because one of the people on MSNBC was saying they had a reporter out in the field, and they were talking to people, and they stopped and they talked to these people. I think it was coming out, and they were like, oh, because they do these exit polls, right? And it's like, so, will you share who you voted for? And the guy was like, we voted for Trump, blah, blah, blah. And the wife was quiet, and the reporter was a woman. And she was kind of looking at her. And as the woman walked away, she had her hand behind her back, and she gave her a thumbs up.
No.
Right? So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Ooh.
The poll, because then if the pollster calls their house, the woman's not going to say who she
No,
really
of course
voted
not.
for. So
Yeah.
I think you have to be careful of the polls. I think there is hope out there. And also, I mean, Trump's devolving. I mean, you saw him get in that stupid garbage truck, and he almost fell down.
What?
Right? He got in and he was really wobbly, and he went to reach the door, and it was like his depth perception was off. He went to reach for it 3 times. Finally, the third time he got it. Right? And so somebody was saying, I can't diagnose him, but that's a sign of dementia. Right? And he looked like his legs were going to fold under him, and then he got the door, so he was okay. And then people went and helped him.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's like, I think physically he's in trouble. Oh, I know what she's saying. My sister said, from your lips to God ears. I'm from Missouri, but not literally. And what she means is Missouri is the show me state, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I remember that growing up. Yeah, I'm from Missouri. It's like when it's real, I'll believe it, kind of thing. But the thing is, pay attention. But Kamala Harris, I mean, in my opinion, has run an almost pitch perfect, knock on wood, campaign here, and she is pulling people up, right? She is lifting them up, and so I think we have a chance, right? I really do think we have a chance, and of course, I will be glued to the TV from now until then. But now, hey, what's going on here?
I'm talking with one of my fans here, and I'm just
Oh.
going to tell her where to go, because this is actually on my page now, right?
It's on mine.
Oh no, it's on yours. Okay.
Yep. So I've been reading Atlas of the Heart from Brene Brown, which I think is really interesting. And the book's like a map of human emotions, and it helps for awareness and empathy, and it gives you really practical tools. And then I found this kind of map out there that I will link to the site on Etsy that you can actually buy these, but it talks about when you feel wronged and how people come out in anger and contempt and disgust, and they tend to dehumanize others, and they have hate, and they have self-righteousness. And I was thinking about that, in trying to find grace amongst those, especially these days, because it feels like we're so divided on lots of things, and we should be divided on some things. I'm never going to give grace to somebody who wants to take rights away from somebody else. Nope, never. But if we're trying to have our better angels come out, I think it's when somebody's really, really being terrible. I think we have to look at what's causing that. Instead of the transactional part of it, is we kind of have to think about how is it going to work if actually I gave this person some compassion, that kind of thing. But then you're going to talk about Brene Brown a little bit too, right? You have a thing that you saw with Brene Brown, who interviewed Kamala Harris, right?
She interviewed Kamala Harris. Yeah, it was.
See how these things thread together?
They just do. Yeah, I had some stuff to do in the car, and I always listen to podcasts in the car. yeah, it was just, I love listening to Unlocking Us by,
My sister says we have to make it public, so I'm not even sure how.
oh,
Well, Roxanne talks, I will try to figure that out, because clearly, we need a
clearly,
technical manager,
we
man.
really do.
Let me
yeah.
just have a little look and
But
see.
yeah, Brene Brown's Unlocking Us podcast is great. She's got so much great information there, and she's so entertaining and compassionate to listen to. So she was interviewing Kamala Harris very recently, and it was just great. And then, as it happened, because I had her podcast on, I listened to another one, and she was interviewing Heather Cox
Richardson, who's great.
who is a historian. And I'll play you a little clip from the podcast. I don't know if this means we're going to get, some sort of violation of copyright, but I'm telling you who it's from. I'm telling you who said it. This is not us.
Yeah.
And she's talking about power. And I'll just play it for you here. So you can
understand what's happening in the United States in 2024 in our way of counting. You have to understand the concept of power, the concept that there are a number of people in our society who want to have power over the others. And most people don't want that. Most people are just trying to get along. They're trying to feed their families and to create and relax and have a good time. But there are some people who want power. And the way that you get power in our society is by whipping up anger against somebody else. And if you think about people, like 10 people, 6 of them just want to get along. They just go with the flow kind of people. 2 of them want power over everybody else. And the way that they get power over everybody else is by turning those 6 against the 2 at the bottom. And so what you're seeing here is the construction of this story that will convince those 6 people in the middle to join with the 2 people at the top to go after the 2 people at the bottom.
That's where I ended it. And I just, to me, that was just you can see that at work, at the huge scope of national politics, and you can see it in the tiniest little, like she said, in a group of 10.
Yeah.
You can see those things happen. And it's a bit, right now I'm imagining, where am I sitting in that group? Am I in the 6? Am I in the 2 at the top? Am I at the 2 at the bottom?
Right.
And I think it depends on what group you're talking about.
Yeah.
And at any one time, you might play a different role in that dynamic.
Well, and it goes back to, we've talked about before, about the victim, the hero, the observer. Wait, the victim, the hero, the observer. I'm missing one.
Victim,
hero,
the villain.
Villain, right? Hero,
The hero
observer,
and the observer.
And that kind of thing. But the other thing, and I saw it went on Facebook, and I actually shared it on my page, was that especially empaths notice weird vibes, bad energy, and sneaky shit, right? And Roxanne and I were talking about it, and I think, my sister's a writer too, and your sister writes. It's like one of those where it's like, we're also storytellers, so we people watch.
Yeah.
Right. And you pay attention to energy and the things they don't say as easily as you pay attention to the things they do say. And I think it's one of those where it's like, I have a lot more respect for somebody who comes up and says they don't agree with me than somebody who sneaks around and doesn't, and instead of talking with me, talks about me. Right. And also, like, the sort of sneaky, creepy feely people that are out there, and this can go right back to Trump at this time, because I think they're telling him he's going to win, so he is overconfidently being a sneaky, creepy person out in the open, right, and saying the things they're going to do, and you know what? They're not as smart as they think they are. Like, they live in their own little bubble and they think they're smarter than everybody else. And that's where it trips them up, right? It's when you think you're smarter, instead of saying, hey, you know what? I think I'm feeling this way. Or, hey, I'd like to do this thing. When you creep around and you do the crap stuff, it bites you in the end if you're not, and it's okay to disagree. And I think we've lost that.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, you know what, I don't see it that way. And I think I will put forward my argument, and people that like lawyers that go into court, they're always saying, my friend on the other side, right? Like that kind of stuff. And to me, it always rang false, but I think they have to use the language to light the path of doing that. So, because they're telling you this is not personal, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you're a bad person because you don't see things the way I do.
Go
right?
in and accept
I'm accepting somebody.
a friendship request.
Okay.
Because someone's
Because
trying to
people
watch
can't
and
get
they
in.
can't
Okay.
because they're not a friend of yours.
Okay.
Because we've got a, so I'm going to do my little plug. We're gonna
Leanne,
take
I know Leanne.
Yes, you do. So you accept her. as a
Yep,
friend.
I've accepted. We should be
So-
friends anyway, Leanne.
Yes,
Leanne.
absolutely.
There
you
we
should.
go. So we will figure this out for our
You've
next
both heard
lifetime.
about each other. So
Yes.
So what we need from you, taking a little break from the political stuff at the moment, I'm just going to say we need 100 followers on our
So
Happy
we can
Hour
do
with
our
Ruth
live
and
thing.
Roxy page in order to do a live from that page.
Yes.
That's what we learned in the last
Yes.
15 minutes
Yeah.
because we're that good at doing lives. So yeah, we need, so I've got 100 on mine. Obviously you've got 100
Yeah,
on
so
yours.
we need
That's
100
fine,
people to
but
be
we
nice to
don't-
us.
Yeah, we don't on our Happy Hour with
Yeah.
Ruth and Roxy page. So if you love watching us, please go
Or even
and-
if you just kind of
and
like it,
follow.
you don't even
know
have to
what?
love us.
You don't have to love
Actually,
us.
even if you disagree with us, because we like to have a good discussion.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm not good with conflict, but I will stand by her having conflict.
She's got my back in the dark from the other room.
Yes, I will hold a gun though.
But yes. Oh, wait, speaking of which, wait. I
Wait,
think I have a present for you.
What?
Look.
Oh,
this
what
is,
did
I
you
got
make
her
now?
this in Maui.
Oh my
And
goodness!
it's
Look at that!
volcano rock.
Look at it!
And
Look
we're,
at it,
you know,
and it matches my.
if you look
t-shirt
at our
today.
logos, it's blue and pink, right? And
Yeah,
that's
that's
clearly what our
right.
personalities
There you
are.
go.
But
Yeah.
so they're lava
Ooh,
rocks.
thank you. Oh, that's cool.
Yes,
That's cool.
but yes.
Maui.
Okay, go back to whatever. The
yeah.
random things. Also, the clocks go back this weekend, everybody, which gives an extra hour for wine or beer. Just
That's
saying.
very good news. That's very good news. So you were saying that you were not going to have any wine until the end of the week. That
Today.
was earlier in this week.
Yeah, and then what? I don't know what happened.
I told you you were having
Yes, you
wine
did.
because I
You
came
became
over
the boss of me.
and I said, "No, I'm having wine." and you're having
Oh, it's
wine
because
with me."
a friend came over. We had some
Yeah.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so she came over, and I was like, I am having tea, and Roxanne, you're having wine. It's like, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We have not had a good discussion in 2 weeks. So
We haven't.
Yeah, and good discussions must
Yes.
take place with wine.
I think
so
good
that's what-
discussions need better wine.
Yeah,
This
you
is
know
too
what
sweet.
they do. It is. You know what? I'm going to leave it for.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this one for my husband, but I'm going to get
Yeah.
new glasses. For
Okay, so while we're talking about that, I want to tell you about Florenceville, Bristol, New Brunswick, which is the French fry capital of the world, people. So I don't know. I think there should be like some kind of adventure that happens to go there. That's like definitely a bucket list thing, right? And while I'm talking about things like that, because who wouldn't want to go to the French fry capital of the world? Let's be serious. The
I had
other,
French fries yesterday. No, on
Did you?
Wednesday. I did.
Ooh.
Excellent.
where'd you have them from? Here?
Duke's Pub.
Oh, Duke's Pub. Any pub that makes homemade fries is okay
They do
with me.
good fries.
Okay, and also the other thing I want you to do is do yourself a huge favor and Google Yorkshire Pudding Boy. There's a dad and his son, and they took their love for the classic Yorkshire pudding to the next level with the costumes that were constructed from 900 Yorkshire puddings.
What?
So Google it. You
Oh
have to
my
Google it.
goodness.
It's freaking hilarious. I think
my
it's a
goodness.
waste of good Yorkshire pudding, but it's very
I
hilarious.
love Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, me too.
My kids made Thanksgiving dinner for us at our daughter's place, and really it was mostly the boys that did.
Yeah,
They did the
that's pretty
turkey,
cool.
and they did the gravy, they did the Yorkies, the Yorkshire puddings were amazing.
Yeah. Even Yorkshire pudding, sometimes I just make Yorkshire puddings and
I
get
know
like
you
packaged
do.
gravy.
Yeah.
It's random.
That's like,
Nope,
yeah.
it's very good.
Ooh, this is nice.
This
Okay,
is
so
better.
this is.
So this is a Culmina,
Yeah, Culmina wine is
yeah,
always
which
good.
is also, okay, so what else do we got? What else is going on there,
Well, I'm just
Roxanne?
going to talk a little bit about my life, which is
Okay,
I got copy edits back this week, which is I keep saying, "Yay, my book is done, my book is done." You know what? Until the book is out, actually, it's never
Not
done.
done.
So I had copy edits. I've done the revisions already. I've worked with my editor. They go back, and then a copy editor comes in and starts going through it with a finer tooth comb. And she found well, actually, she even missed it. So it's gone through me. It's gone through my editor. Now it's at a copy editor who also missed it. But then when she came back to me, I'm like, here I said he's dead. Here I said he's alive. This is a problem. So one of those has to change. So I changed that. She caught,
but did he live?
oh, he's dead. He's dead. It's fine.
She won't
He
even
needs
tell
to be
me.
dead. No.
She won't even tell me what the resolution of everything
She's like,
is.
here they're friends and here they're not friends. She doesn't even know her name. I'm like, oh my God, that's from an earlier iteration that never got stripped out so thank goodness for editors. And I'm so great. Her name's Helena. She's amazing. I'm so grateful for her. So,
But a good editor is incredible, and like a
Yeah.
collaborator and stuff,
Yeah.
right? It really helps for somebody to go, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Not sure, because we all think when we become immersed in whether it's a fiction story and you know, or it's what I do, you get immersed in the details and you kind of lose you sort of don't see
Oh,
the forest for the trees, right? And it
absolutely.
really helps to have someone with fresh eyes
Yeah.
to go through it that also understands narrative and how it has to flow,
Well,
right?
and she's been with me for all four. This is the fourth book in the series now, so she's been with me for all the books. So at one point, she put a little note in there that says, "Ooh, I love how you're doling out the clues as to who JP Malone is," and she's like, "I think I know who it is, but I'm not sure, and I can't wait to find out." Like those just
That's nice.
that just makes you,
No,
know,
that's
just-
really
as
nice.
as an author, that's just
Just for the record,
Makes
she's
your day.
not doling out any clues to me about who
no.
he is.
You should know.
That-
No.
Last book. Oh my God. Okay, what else we got? You can
What else
see
we
that we
got?
haven't been around for 2 weeks because we got none of the usual little pitter patter. It's crappy weather here
It's
too.
really gross. We're normally out. I mean, during the summer we're outside. I mean, I say during the summer we've just completed our first year, which means during the first summer of the first year we record outside.
But we recorded outside the pre-summer of the first year because we
Oh,
did a
'cause it
bunch
was
that where
COVID.
and we were no in 2020 we did because we had more than we had a pre-summer, a prequel to when we actually started
Oh,
seriously
yeah, that's
recording because
true.
I've got a couple originals where we just rambled and the sun was behind us like it was
That's
like
true,
a
yeah.
poop show.
We've done some, yeah. Yeah,
Yes, but yes.
we've done some that don't need to go
Yeah.
anywhere. And you know what? Some people will say this one doesn't need to go anywhere, and that may be
Well,
what we end up finding
Given
out.
that I can't figure out how to publicly share it,
it may it may not go anywhere anyway.
but that's okay. We will get there.
Yeah, we will get there.
Okay, so the other thing, and I think this is an important one with everything going on with, you know, what's going on in the world in general. But apparently, and I saw this on Facebook, it's acknowledging these Jewish lives that are lost. And there's an artist named Gunter Deming, and you can find these, they have these little plaques in the sidewalk, and you can find them all over Germany and other European countries, and they show where Jewish people used to live and what their names were when they were born and when they were deported, murdered during World War II, right, during the
Wow.
Holocaust. And it's one of those things that makes you stop and remember names, and that this was where these people lived, this was their community, this was their neighborhood. So it takes out of, you know, we lost X amount of lives into
Brings
this
it makes it
person,
personal.
right, kind
Yeah.
of thing. There's an English, I'll find the Wikipedia article and link it, and there are more than 100,000 of them now, right? And the little brass plates are manufactured by hand by the artist,
Oh my goodness.
which is really,
love
I
that.
thought, what an amazing thing, and what an amazing thing that it's on Facebook again at this time, because we have to remember that happened before, and it happened because a buffoon tricked a bunch of people into believing that he was a strong man.
People believed a story.
Yeah.
It was exactly like what Heather Cox Richardson just said about
Yeah.
the 10, that
Yeah.
the 6 in the middle, all those people that they just wanted to live and let live.
Yeah.
They believed the story that the 2 at the top told
Yeah.
to make them turn against
Yeah.
the 2 at the bottom,
Yeah.
and
Just
them
magnify
power.
that by,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? By
and it doesn't
millions in a country.
exactly, and it doesn't have to be real. She goes on more, and we'll provide some links to that podcast, but she goes on in more detail about the anger that people want, and we see that in social media right now. Oh, to the utmost degree, is that people are seeking outrage.
Yep.
So if those 2 at the top can create anger among those 6 that are truly just wanting to live, we don't actually want to be angry.
Yeah.
But if you can make us angry, that mobilizes them to then do whatever. And it doesn't have to be true. That's the part that kills me.
And sometimes, you know, with what we've seen lately, I don't think after a while, I don't know that they care that it's true.
Yeah.
They've been allowed to unleash their anger, but I think it's a really important for us to see, and I have to say me especially, because I am all about the us versus them right now, about the people that want to, you know, take healthcare rights from women and do all of the things, but we have to find a way back. And for I think for those 6 in the middle, really, if 4 of them are watching Fox News, they have been fed lies, right? They are now a part of a cult because they have been consumed by these untruths, these lies, and then bring in the Russian troll farms coming in and pushing misinformation, and you think they're American things, and then put in the greedy Americans like Tucker Carlson, who apparently is on the payroll, according to Justin Trudeau, under oath at a hearing, right? Like all of it, it's like these people are pawns, and I have to find more empathy for them. I'm never going to let them say what they want to say without challenging them, but I have to find more empathy, right? Because otherwise, how do we come out of this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How do we come out of it without flipping the script so that we are then the ones in power and they are the ones on the bottom hated?
Yeah.
So we don't, that's a tough one.
It is. It's really hard. So there's what's it's the something of tolerance. I forget what it is,
Paradox?
but it's paradox of tolerance because tolerance only goes so far because you have to be intolerant when it comes to hate.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't be tolerant. And so, but it is. And I think this time for me, I know it's weighing heavily because the election is coming up, but it's really important, I think, is if there's a chance and somebody says something, it's like, so can you show me where you got that from? Like what are the facts to that without attacking, right? Because we'll never pull people back in unless we do it. And I you know, this is far easier said than done because I don't do it well. I mean, I'm just like, you're an idiot, you know, you should just go home and sit in a corner, but we can't, because how will we get it back?
I have a tough time with that, but I have a little tiny example. And this, so going back to last podcast where we talked about doing something each day that scares
you. Yes.
So I have a couple, but I can tell you one instance where I did something that really scares me because I am conflict averse. I don't like confrontation. I don't like to step into that, stir up that hornet's nest, but I have learned to be different because of my kids.
Right.
Because I learned to protect my kids when they were small. If there was something going on, it's like, no, Mama's on it. Mama Bear is going to be there. So we were renovating our house years ago, the house we lived in before we moved here. And so we were living in it during the renovation. And so we had a lot of tradespeople coming and going. And, you know, you get a wider variety of exposure to a wider variety of people when you've got tradespeople coming and going, because you saw the one yesterday and now there's a new one, and some of them are a little rough around the edges. So there was somebody talking about making a very racist statement about Indo-Canadian people, and my son-in-law is Indo-Canadian, and he made some comment, and I said, oh, are you talking about my son-in-law or my biracial granddaughter when you make that statement? And that shut him up real fast. And I don't do that easily. Yeah. And that is not easy for me. But that was like, okay, I have to do that. Yeah. Like, this is my family you're talking about. Yeah. These are, and it's personal. Yeah. It's not, oh, those, you know, fill in the blank of racial slur that you want to say. It's a person. Yeah. It's a young man I love. It's a little girl I love. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that to those people.
Right. But I think that opens it up a little bit too, because I think for me it would start out like that. It's like, well, this is personal, I can't do it. And then once you realize what it feels like when you're involved, then it glances out so that if you hear it, you have to say something, even if it's not personal to you anymore, because you completely understand what that feels like to have somebody you care about, you know, that for them to disparage them. And it's a really interesting thing, because I think you can say that and bring people along in a way that isn't like, you're a racist asshole, because that's no. you cannot help somebody realize what they're doing is wrong if you put them on the defense. They're never going to do it. Yeah. You know, which also doesn't always work, because sometimes they don't listen until you say, hey.
Well, you know, like, that goes back a little bit to what my sister Connie, when she was a guest on our podcast, she was talking about gentle teaching and the need to make people feel safe with you. And that's the thing. If we go on the defensive and we say, you know, like, ooh, that's race, you know, whatever it is that we say, then that puts up barriers. They don't feel safe. So I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think that so much of what we see as anger and hatred is rooted in fear.
That's fair.
And if people are afraid, they're not safe. So the fear and the hate and the fear and the hate just escalates. And until somebody finally feels safe, is able to be vulnerable, and this is Brene Brown.
Yeah.
Brown preaches this all the
Yeah.
time, right?
No,
We have to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's true, and it's really hard right now when you see that hate and racism and misogyny and anti-Semitism has risen up into all of our politics. Like, let's not pretend Canada's innocent.
Yeah,
Right? Like, there's lots of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's really important when the person who used to be leader of the free world, who wants to be against, says all these terrible things about Puerto Ricans, or he
Yeah.
allows that to happen,
Yeah.
as the warm-up acts. And it's like, but there's also a part, I think, where reasonable people will be able to have that discussion. Other people, you have to say, shut up, because they don't hear anything else. Like, I think you have to know your audience, kind of, to do it. So were you going to say something that you did this week that scares you? Have you done something this week that scares you?
I did actually.
Okay.
So this week I joined a choir. And so several years ago, in a fit of midwinter malaise where I was like, it's dark and it's rainy, I have no friends, I don't know what
Can
to
you
do
tell
with
that
myself.
she writes fiction and it's dramatic?
So pathetic. Again, I was talking to my sister, and she told me about how she had joined this chorus in her town in Saskatchewan that she loved. And I thought, I'm going to see if there's one of those in my town. And there was, and I joined. And Valley Echoes in Abbotsford, if any of you are listening, I love you guys, I miss you, but I'm not driving to Abbotsford anymore. So that's
Also,
the
she
problem.
found new people, just saying.
I did. So when I found that in Chilliwack, the city closer to where I live, had somebody is doing this. It's a rock choir, you guys. It's not an a cappella chorus like I was involved with before. This is a choir that's got a band with it, and they do rock music. So we're singing.
cool.
So I went to the first one on Monday, and I joined.
That's cool. And what did you sing on Monday?
So we sang Bad Moon Rising and
Sing a few bars.
There's a bad moon on the rise. Do 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 do. I don't know. There's a bunch of solo stuff in there, and then that's about. There's a bad moon on the rise. Depends what part you're singing,
Right,
because it's 4-part
right.
harmony. So, yeah, it was really fun, and we sang another one that I can't remember right now. And then, but we're going to be singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that's
We're going to
cool.
be singing Hey Jude.
That's cool.
Like, it's going to be fun.
That's
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. And when I got there, because part of me is like, okay, this is from 6:30 to 8:30 on Monday nights.
Monday nights.
I like to be in my jammies by about 7:15, somewhere around there, and then watch TV until 8:30 and then go to bed. So this is like pressing my comfort zone here a bit. So as I'm driving there, I'm like, it's raining. I don't want to drive in the rain. This is dangerous. This is a health issue. This is a safety issue. Like, I should be off the road. Then I get there, there's no parking. I'm driving around in circles, and I got there early. I'm like, oh, there's no parking. That's a sign. I shouldn't be here. This is ridiculous. So finally I find parking. People are double parked along the side road. Anyway, I get there. Okay, that's fine. I get in. I actually find somebody that I know there, and we're going to carpool from now on. But about midway through, I start coughing. I tried to sing too high. It's a bad mood. Super, super attractive moment in my life. And so I get out and I walk, and it's in a church, which is a little triggering for me to begin with. But so I get out of the pew and I walk down. I'm like, don't mind me while I cough out a lung. And I figure, you know what? I'm just going to go out. I had forgotten my phone in the car. Okay, I'm going to go out and get my phone while I'm out here catching my breath. I walk out, the door closes behind me, and it locks. And I'm standing out there in the rain. I'm thinking, okay, I brought my purse with me. I could leave, but I left my water bottle and my coat inside. I don't know how to get back in. This is a sign I shouldn't be here. I was looking for anything. I just waited, and they actually broke for a break. Somebody came out for a smoke and let me back in. And I'm like, all right, if I'm looking for signs, the signs are conspiring to say
They are, that you should
stick
stay.
with it.
No,
So
and you
yeah,
did.
I did. Yeah, I went back and we had more fun, and then I came home and I said, I'm doing this.
No, that's
So,
good. That's really good.
And I have a friend I can carpool with. So
Which is awesome. She was trying to get Paul, my husband, to
I
go
was,
too.
yeah.
But Monday nights are football.
Monday nights. Well, another reason why do I need to be in the house for that? Like, I'm not gonna I don't watch TV by myself. I just don't. So my husband's watching football. What am I going to do? I'm going to leave. What do you mean?
I'd rather watch. I like TV by myself because I don't want anybody talking while it's.
But you watch TV. Oh, you watch TV on your iPad.
Yeah, and I do other things while I'm doing it. I just don't want people interrupting me.
No, I watch TV only. Like I'm not on my phone because I can barely remember the storyline anyway.
Yeah.
And we usually have 1 or 2 or 3 series going on at the same time. And I've gotten tired of saying, wait, what? Who's that? Isn't that the guy? That's from the other show, Rox, not this show.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
you know, well,
yeah.
for there's a new show. Well, there's a few good. The Lincoln Lawyer is really good. I have to say, it comes back soon. But there's a new one out, and it's called, oh my goodness, High Potential, and it's with
Ooh.
this really cool actress that has been in a couple of things that haven't really taken off. She might have been in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia too.
Okay.
But she's, so what she is, she has this really,
High
she's
potential?
got this very, very high intellect, like she's a Mensa level kind of person. And she ends up working for the police department, and she sees things that people don't. And also she has insomnia, so she watched all these documentaries. So she has all these random things in her head, facts, right?
Okay.
But it's really interesting and it's
Caitlin
funny.
Olsen?
Yeah, Caitlin Olsen. But it is really good, and it's a little formulaic, like it's not like one of those interesting, is it a drama or is it a comedy that you see on Netflix sometimes? But it's like, it's really good, and it's got this strong woman lead character who's different, right? And I really like that. And she's a bit quirky, clearly neurodivergent, right? But it's really interesting and entertaining, and there's a lot of, sort of women power themes that come through that, because she's with a straight-laced kind of detective who thinks she shouldn't be on there because he's a cop and she used to be a cleaning lady kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Right? It's a really cool thing. But the thing I did this week that scared me is
Okay.
I got a request that was, a little bit entitled, and I thought that, for a bunch of reasons, it was a little off the mark, and it's something I usually would jump in to do to help somebody. And I said, no, sorry, can't.
Good for
And
you.
that's really hard for me.
You don't
My
say
people
no very
pleasing and
often.
I put it in here, and so it's like, to say no with conviction and to close it. Right? So it's not like, well, I can't right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but that was just like, nope, sorry, can't.
Good for you.
And so
Ooh,
that
I want
was,
to know details
yeah,
after.
yeah. But that was definitely, that was a good one, but also one that you feel like I feel, because I am, I have this need, I'm a fixer, right? I have this need to make things okay for everybody. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, this got nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was, but it's interesting when you push yourself out of your comfort zone that way. And I know that lots of us are aware of things we might strengthen, but when they come up, it's easy to hide them in your back pocket. And put them back there and go, I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
But this commitment to do one thing a week that scares me sort of brings you out of it, where it's like,
Yeah.
well, I got to report back.
That's right. That's right. I gotta have my challenge somewhere. Yeah, I don't like getting out of my comfort zone. I'm very comfortable in my comfort zone. I prefer that.
In this day and age, I think we all have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we are going to have to, and with
It's
whatever,
part of being human.
and part of being an adult, and also part of being an ally, I think, right? To be the
Yeah,
person in the
yeah.
room that when somebody says something, it's like, you know what, even if it's because people can say things and they don't realize how harmful they might
Yeah,
be to somebody.
yeah.
And even to say, you know what, that's just not cool to say it,
Totally.
right? It's not cool. Like, first of all, it's not cool to think it, dude, but also don't say it out loud.
Well, and even I mean, we often I'm terrible for saying things inadvertently that are just ridiculous, right? And
Like what?
kind of I don't know, but even so I'm just thinking of
But nothing you say is hurtful or harmful.
That's nice that you think that. I'm very glad. I'm very glad of that. I'm not quite the paragon that you seem to think I am, but you keep on with your delusions. I like that. But it's good when you, like, I'm just thinking of somebody very important to me who we have had issues in the past. We've had issues that we've not been able to talk about. And then we've had times where somebody has stepped on toes and someone else has said, okay, this is what happened, or we've come to a place where we're able to address it like grown-ups and say, this is what happened, not you did this,
Right.
and I'm angry at you,
Yeah.
and now I hate you, and I'm done with you forever, whatever. And I'm mea culpa, you know, like put my foot in my mouth pretty much every time I open it. So absolutely, you let me know when I've hurt you, because I don't generally mean to hurt people. There are times when I do intend to be very forward. My therapist has a great line. He's like, saying something to hurt someone is different from saying someone that hurts.
Right.
Something
right.
that hurts someone.
Right.
You can say something because it's the truth,
Yeah.
and it hurts somebody that is outside of your intent.
Yeah.
It's simply a fact that needed to be stated.
Yeah.
Their hurt is not your problem. Saying something deliberately with the intent to hurt someone is different.
Right.
I don't generally intend to hurt someone, but I'm trying very much now in my, third act, to be more clear about saying the things even if they will hurt someone. If it's a
Right.
truth that needs to be said, I
Right.
need to have the courage to say it even if it hurts someone.
But that's a good, and I think that's a good way to say it, is being able to understand that it might upset them, because sometimes it doesn't hurt them, it pisses them off, right? Or if it hurts them, but being able to say, so here's the thing that either I need you to know, or I think it would be good for you to know, and it's going to, as opposed to, because you've seen people do it where it's like, they just make nasty comments, and
Yeah.
it's meant to hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's different, and that's a whole different thing of things. But sometimes you have to say, like, and it could be even as much as, look, I think you need to go to a hearing doctor, because I think you're into, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Or it could be like, hey, when you do this, it hits here and here and here for me, kind of stuff. But I think if you can approach it where it's like, here's the situation, how do we work through it, as opposed
Yeah.
to you do this,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
because that doesn't serve anybody. And honestly, I think 90% of the people that either have hurt me in some way is they were dealing with their own shit, and I was collateral damage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like none of it was intentional.
Yeah.
I was just in the wrong spot in whatever relationship we'd had, that I got hurt because they were working through something they needed to work through, right?
It's another point that my therapist makes regularly, and I just talked to him last week, so he's on my mind. But he's always encouraging me, urging me, helping me to see that the things that bother me that other people say rarely have anything to do with me, and I am an empath, but I still, even empaths have to remember that it's not all about us.
Nope.
And that it's such a trite saying, it's not about me.
Yeah.
But
But big when you can do it, right? And remove it and put that kind of,
Yeah.
like that glass shield up, sort of.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
not that you don't want to be there and help the person, but it's also what they say has to just bounce off you, because it has very little likely to do with you. You're
Yeah.
just a target. And it's
Yeah.
and the other side is, quite often it's the person you're closest to, right?
Yeah.
That come
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
because you can. Because
Yeah.
it goes back to being
That's
safe.
right.
It's safe
Yeah.
to take it out on, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure learn that as a mother, I'll tell you.
Oh,
I've
I'm
been
sure.
I've been watching my my middle daughter Mose, whose little boy is 2 years old, and he will he will be like, "Nah, daddy, only daddy," and absolutely cut her out, and to the point where he's like, "No, Andrea," he calls her by her name. He said, "No, daddy, only
that's
daddy."
funny.
And she knows, she understands, like she's smart enough to get it. And my older daughter's gone through this with her kids too, but her oldest daughter's a daughter.
Right,
Her oldest
right.
kid is a
Yeah.
girl, so it's a little bit
different.
different. But they understand it's safe to do that with your mother.
Right, yeah.
You can say anything with your mother will still love you. So that's it's a tough thing.
Most mothers will still love you.
Most mothers will still love you, yes. So it's a tough thing to be a safe person,
Yeah.
but if you want to look at it from a really high vantage point, it's a huge compliment when somebody treats you like that, because it means that they do believe
Right.
they're safe with you. Oh,
Right.
hi. Speaking
Right.
of.
Oh, look, speaking of safe.
Speaking of.
Oh,
hi.
can't see him.
Oh, the mic's in the
When
way.
the mic's in the way. Yeah, there he
There we-
is.
there we go.
But it is
Hi.
kind of interesting, but it's also like, Also, sometimes people just need to, if it's somebody that consistently does things that you also have to manage bad behavior and put up barriers, not barriers, what is it? Put up
Their boundaries.
boundaries, that's it. But I have no words today, I don't know what happened. I had to ask Roxanne 3 times what different words meant.
He's not exactly a lap dog, and he's not going to be a lap dog.
But he's very cute.
He thinks he is right now. Hi, lovely boy.
Okay, so what else we got going on? We haven't been very funny today. We should be funnier.
Well,
We should be funnier.
I could talk about my pee diary. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're going to do as my dog gives me a hickey, we're going to do a podcast coming up. We're not going to talk about it today, but I'll give you a little teaser because I saw someone this week who is a health professional in an area that I didn't even know existed, pelvic floor physiotherapy. So a lot of our listeners are women of a certain age, elevated power, shall we say, and pelvic floor health.
Maybe
is
not
a
elevated
thing.
pelvic floor, so it might
Maybe
have
not.
elevated.
Yes, maybe our pelvic floor maybe somewhat
Might need a
dropping a
lift.
bit. But I will tell you more about that. So come back to learn about that because that's something that every person, every woman, and possibly every man needs to know about as well. I learned stuff I had no idea about.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm keeping a pee diary. So she wants to know. She's like, you tell me, what are you drinking? When are you peeing? How much are you peeing? How long does it take for you to pee? I'm like, wow, I'm house training a puppy. I'm already doing this with him. Like,
I promise we will never put her pee diary in as part of the show notes.
Nope. Doesn't need to be there. But yeah, the things that you keep track of as you get older.
As we season.
As we season, yes. Do you know that later in life romances are called seasoned romance?
Really?
By the way, yeah. I mean, we're trying to make that a thing, and some people, I say we loosely in that I kind of write romance, but I don't write.
Hey, have you told these guys about did you tell everybody that it's like in production and stuff?
Oh, the
movie.
The movie. Oh, so this guy, his name is Neo Valentine, and his name is Neo Valentine because the week that we got him, I found out that my book, A Dog Called Valentine, is being made into a movie. It's being produced right now, shot right now. Apparently it was being scripted, I don't know, a few months, weeks back. I don't know. So yeah, that's cool. It's a deal that was, I'm the author, but my publishing house made the deal with the production company. So I learn things on an as need to know basis,
Right.
which means I don't need to know anything ever. So I may not find out anything more before you guys, but if I learn where it's going to be streamed or
Oh yeah, we'll tell you for sure.
yeah, we'll let you know for sure.
Yeah.
We may have a viewing party for that.
That would be fun. That would be really fun. That's a very loving dog, but he's heavy. He's very heavy. Okay, so what we're going to, so our promise to you is next time we go live, we'll actually have our act together. Well, we'll try to have our act
We may
together.
have to have a few
Hi, buddy.
trials. I
Yes.
think that's what that
Yeah.
means. We may have a few like, hey, it's happy hour with Ruth and Roxy. Thanks for showing up. Bye.
Bye. Yep.
Because I don't know how else we're gonna.
No.
Apparently, she says we've done this successfully once
We have,
before.
we've done it at least once, haven't we, Beverly? You were there.
I think that we have
Yeah.
two, but I
She'll
think there,
back me up.
there was some issue with that one as well, in that we weren't able to share it or create an event in advance. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah,
whatever
we're,
it is,
we're gonna have to get more
we have-
tech
we have
savvy.
yeah.
We're definitely gonna have to get
Well.
more tech savvy.
Tech savviness is not my strong suit, that's for sure.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we got nothing else? How do we not have lots to talk about? I think we're
Yeah.
live and we're afraid we're gonna
We're
say
a little
something.
nervous, yeah.
We're afraid we're gonna go off on
scared.
some freaking tangent
so-
and we're gonna get like,
So give us some really nice comments, you guys,
Yes.
on this.
Tell
and,
us things.
I think that we should talk about what we're grateful for,
okay?
and you
What are
go
you
first.
grateful? I'm grateful as much as we were with a very great client in Maui and they take the whole team for planning sessions. I'm grateful to be home where I have a printer and my own bed. Oh, and
What the
it scared
hell?
me.
Wow.
And my dogs.
What was that?
And-
So dramatic.
And, definitely grateful that we like to come home, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah.
is the thing.
Well, I'm grateful that you're home. That was, I mean, it was great. The first few days was like,
It was
oh,
great. Woo-hoo, she's
we're gonna-
gone.
We're gonna do our own thing, and afterwards I'm like, okay, now I'm bored. now what? And on Friday, it's like, well, I got nothing to do on Friday. Like Fridays are my things. Anyway, I'm grateful for Instagram Reels because, so I've told you before what she sends me. She's up like 3 hours earlier than I am during the day. By the time I get up, she sent me like, I don't know, gazillion.
They're called glimmers, man.
Glimmers. She's offering me glimmers.
It's happiness.
And one of them was this reel by a woman whose thing is called Focaccia.
Oh yeah, she just makes all kinds of,
Yeah,
will
she
it,
did.
will it focaccia or something like that.
Will it Focaccia? That, yeah.
We'll
will
do
it-
a link.
Yeah, we'll do a link. So one of them was spinach and artichoke Focaccia. And I looked at that and I went, I'm making that. So I did.
You should go get it
and
and
it
show
looks and it looks decent. I'll show you.
Yes, Roxanne makes the best focaccia, the best sourdough and the best focaccia ever. Like, it's insane. She's,
I do have a sourdough focaccia that is
look
spectacular.
at that, beautiful, hey?
This one is
Oh, it smells
not
good.
sourdough, but it does have the spinach and artichoke stuff in it.
It's beautiful.
And I think it's going to be good.
Yep, it's very beautiful. That's what we're having for dinner tonight with I made a feta bruschetta and I have an artichoke too, but it's from Costco.
That's fine.
So there's a theme.
And we've got a cauliflower we're going to roast up and
Yeah, oh, and I have
try
some
be
smoky
healthy.
beans, which
Oh.
my sister Beverly
Oh.
taught me how to make.
And I'll tell you one last thing before we go. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here.
Oh yeah, eyebrows.
So I got my eyebrows microbladed and nano browed. So microblade is when
They
they
look
use
really
the
good.
teeny tiny blade and then they cut in and then they put the ink in it. And the nano brow is an actual tattoo gun where they do some shading. So she's just done one and then she goes in and does a bit more.
One thing, not one eyebrow.
She did both eyebrows, that's true. Yeah, she's done one treatment and then you go back for touch-ups about 6 or 8 weeks later. So in December, I'll go back and she'll do a little bit more and make them a little bit fuller.
They look great, hey?
But I'm pretty pleased, yeah.
They're good, like
And-
it's the right color.
Yeah, she did a really good job matching the color. And her name is Brows by Tanya in Chilliwack, and I really
See?
like her. She's a lovely, lovely young woman.
And they did all sorts of, they measured her brows.
Oh my God.
and-
The first half an hour more than that, she's like measuring things. And you know what? I'll put the picture. I can't remember if I sent you the picture. I'll have to show it to you because it's pretty funny.
She doesn't send me glimmers, people.
She did all of the lines how she wanted to do them, like with the markings and the measurements and all that stuff. And then she, with a Sharpie, put it all in there. And so I very strategically chose that moment to go to the bathroom and took a picture. And I'm like, I went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I went, what? No, because it's pretty dramatic. That's not what it ends up like.
Right.
But those are her lines.
How'd
So,
she get the Sharpie off your face?
I don't know.
We need to find that out,
Maybe it wasn't a permanent Sharpie.
Maybe.
Maybe it was.
maybe. I remember
Yeah.
going upstairs and all was quiet. And we had our niece, right? Paul's brother's child was here, and who at that time I think she was like 6. And our neighbor Julie across the street, Harper, that we've talked about, Harper is always giving me things she makes with flamingos. And all of a sudden everything was quiet. And we walked up into Paul's office and they're both sitting there with Sharpies in their hands. And I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, we're just thinking about drawing. And it's like, where are you going to draw? And so all of a sudden it was like, downstairs, you two. Right? But it was
Yeah.
like, ever since then, I've realized the power of Sharpies.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
danger of Sharpies and children.
So this was not our kid that did it. I think our kid did something similar, but we had somebody who drew on the wall going down a staircase. Somebody drew something on a car. This is not our story. I'm going to say this is a story of somebody else whose kids decided to wash their father's car with gravel.
Oh,
Yeah. So when you're thinking about the damage Sharpies can do,
oh my goodness.
yeah. Yeah, bad. So
Although-
we never had that, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Although when you said that, wait, I have a really good friend whose nickname is Moppy. And when you said, oh, this is somebody else's memory, sometimes I'll be sitting with him and he tells me a story and it's like halfway into it, it's like, that
That's my
happened to me.
story.
And
He
he's
took
like,
my story.
oh, I forgot. I thought I was there. And it was like, and he does it on purpose. Like he fully knows it's my story, right? But he's a problem, that guy,
goodness.
man.
Okay, you know what? I'm
Okay.
gonna end with one. I wanted to tell you about
Oh, a
a book
book?
that I read in the last 2 weeks called Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. And if you're looking for a very twisty thriller, this is a great one. So I don't need to say.
Okay, seriously. I talked to her and she's reading about Roman ruins and some
Oh
fiction
yeah,
book
I
that
read
goes
one.
back.
I'm currently reading one that no, finished that one about the Irish potato famine. Yeah, finished that one. Now I'm reading one that deals with it's the Salem witch trials, people, but it's not. It's more complicated than that. But anyway, yeah. So this one though,
You don't have a specific genre.
I read everything if it's interesting. I like thrillers, I have to say. I like
If there's not a cell phone in the book, I'm not reading it.
yeah, I like stuff from any
Yes, you
time
do.
and age. Yeah.
But it's interesting to see someone who doesn't I like mysteries usually about serial killers.
Yeah.
And I like easy kind of, like women's books, but I want them to be deeper. Yours keeps me up, so it's got a very specific place in my life. But I also mostly I like nonfiction. I like political nonfiction. So I have like maybe 4 genres that really
Okay.
interest me.
Okay.
Right? But you've got like 5,000.
Yeah. I watch the recommendations that come through, and it's generally topical. Like it has to be a
Like
topic
what
that interests me.
recommendations? Like from
From
BookBub?
BookBub, yeah, or from other people, Goodreads, and I follow a lot of authors and reviewers and stuff. So if there's the topics that will always get me, motherhood things. I mean, right now I'm totally into, because of the series that I just wrote, motherhood, adoptions that have gone awry. That sort of stuff always interests me. Historical stuff, I like historical fiction a lot because I don't like to read dry stuff. So I assume, and this is my experience, is that historical fiction writers are generally very, very good at making sure their details are right.
Right.
So you can learn
That's
about
true.
history by reading historical fiction. And the good ones will tell you where they, get their information from and where they've taken creative license if they have.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I mean, this brings us full circle to where we started at the beginning about story.
Right.
Right. I like to learn through story. That's how it works for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think
that's it.
that's it. We're
So-
done being live. We're now going to be dead.
We're not. But if I think we probably have about 3 people here who could access us because we suck at technology. But this will go up quickly onto the YouTube channel. And if you're in the US and you haven't yet, please vote. And I would like you just to vote, but I would really like you to vote for democracy, which is Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Right? And so please, we will be cheering you on. And honestly, for all of you that are worried about it, there are little glimmers of light out there. There are people stepping up for democracy. And I really believe that more people care about the good things than the people that care about hate.
I can't wait to the next time we check in with you guys,
Because
we'll know. By then we'll know.
Yeah. Also, I took the day after the election off, whether it's good news or bad. If it's good news, we'll be celebrating by drinking bubbles, and if it's bad news, I'll be sitting in the corner by myself drinking scotch.
Oh, you won't be alone.
Well, okay,
I'll be
right?
with you.
But yes, have a really great weekend. We'll get this up as soon as we can for, the other 7 people that can't access it.
You
And
guys
we will-
those of you who have been watching with
Yes.
us, thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
We
showing up.
appreciate you.
Thanks, and
You
thanks
guys are
for the
amazing.
advice, Bev.
And if you popped in afterwards to watch us, you guys are like, thank you.
Yes, we
Truly.
appreciate it.
We love you guys. And
Okay.
what do we want more of, Ruth?
More happy hours. What would we like less of, Roxanne?
Less bullshit. Bye, you
Okay,
guys.
bye.